Welcome to Conservative Roundtable. I'm Howard Phillips, chairman of the Conservative Caucus, which sponsors these broadcasts. Today we're broadcasting from Ottawa, Canada, where as chairman of the Coalition to Block the North American Union, I've been doing a series of news conferences and media interviews to express the concern which so many Americans share about the impending plans for a North American Union.
Anyone who's in control basically of how your money operates in your nation controls the nation, and it doesn't matter who's in government, which party it is. We've always been extremely concerned about the growing loss of Canadian sovereignty, which really escalated with NAFTA, the sell-off of our corporations, of our industries being taken over from other countries. And it's really worrisome in this time when corporations are ruling the world, and now we have next to no corporations that are Canadian that are left here anymore. It's getting to be, that's been the primary takeover of our country. And as we're talking these days, is the recognition of the power that's transferred over to the rule of unelected, unaccountable, unrepresentative forces that completely are overpowering our leaders that are elected. The whole move into administrative official rule is a bad thing, a very bad thing, because in a democracy, everything should flow from the people. Our countries were founded with a recognition that responsibility lying in the heart and the hand of the people is sacrosanct, very precious. Wars have been fought, people have died, people have suffered to obtain and to protect and preserve that, and we're losing that now.
In 1993, when NAFTA was being debated, I was helping lead the fight against it in the United States, and I was a guest at a wedding in Canada, in Toronto, and I recall the fury of my Canadian friends at NAFTA. They were completely opposed to it. They didn't understand why it was being pushed or what its impact would be. I know you were active in opposing it. What has been the impact of NAFTA in Canada?
Oh, well, jobs, there was always this talk about jobs, but in fact it's not working out the way the papers present it. We're losing, head offices are moving someplace else. They're moving to places more and more of operation. It's the same story everywhere. Operation where the labor is the cheapest. There's a brain drain as a result of it.
Whether it's slave labor from Red China or cheap labor from Mexico.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the biggest thing, of course, is if you lose the foundation of your corporate structure in your nation, I mean, that is a core part of it. We're not opposed to corporations existing. We're opposed to corporations ruling everything and taking the power away from the people. You need industry, obviously.
As we're taping this discussion, President George Bush of the United States, your Prime Minister Stephen Harper, and Felipe Calderón are behind closed doors at a meeting at the beautiful Montebello Resort in Montebello, Canada. And there are no elected legislators from any of the three countries invited to take part. There are no elected members other than the presidents. There are no duly appointed judges, but there are a great many corporate heads.
That's right.
And if you look at the Bush administration's policies, one must ask, why did Bush favor amnesty in his immigration bill? One of the reasons was to get cheap labor from Mexico to serve the big corporations. Why, until the defeat of the amnesty bill, was Bush unwilling to enforce the 1986 U.S. law, which penalized corporations for hiring illegal aliens? Why has Bush been so reluctant to build a fence, as Congress required him to do, but which he has not done? And it all goes back to the idea of an ultimate North American Union where there would be no borders and where the northern perimeter of Canada, the southern perimeter of Mexico would become the new border of the United States, of Canada, of Mexico. And if they're serious about fighting terrorism, I worry about people from Guatemala getting into Mexico and then traveling at will throughout the United States. It's a great deal similar, very much similar to the European Union, where if you are a resident of any one of the 27 EU countries, you can travel at will without documents to any of the other 26 or 27 European Union countries. And what they have in mind is subordinating the distinct histories, cultures, beliefs of the three countries to a new North American regime. The architect of the North American Union, which he says is a North American community, is Robert Pastor.
The future doesn't have to be a bad one. We just have to realize the power that lies within ourselves. We come into this world born with a certain inalienable right to be human, and to be human means the entitlement to live in this nature and use the resources of this nature for our betterment as human beings.